The 1925 Lincoln Wheat penny is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. Minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, this coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse displays two wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity. While not considered one of the rarest wheat pennies, its value largely depends on its mint mark and condition. The 1925 P Philadelphia Mint had the highest mintage, making it the most common, while the 1925 D and 1925 S had lower mintages, making them more valuable in higher grades. In circulated condition, a 1925 Lincoln Wheat penny can range from $1 to $20. However, uncirculated examples, especially from the Denver and San Francisco mints, can fetch $100 or more. A pristine, well-preserved 1925 S. Lincoln penny in high mint state condition has been known to sell for several $1,000s at auctions. Collectors look for sharp details, minimal wear, and original luster to determine value. Some 1925 pennies may have unique errors or varieties, such as doubled dies or off-center strikes, increasing their desirability among collectors. Checking for these variations can turn a common 1925 penny into a valuable find. Whether you're a casual collector or a serious numismatist, the 1925 Lincoln Wheat penny remains an intriguing and collectible piece of American history. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny is a notable coin from the early 20th century, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it features Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and national strength. The 1937 P penny, struck in Philadelphia, had the highest mintage, making it the most common, whereas the 1937 D and 1937 S had lower mintages and are more valuable in high grades. In circulated condition, a 1937 penny is generally worth between 10 cents and $3, depending on wear. However, uncirculated examples, particularly from the Denver and San Francisco mints, can sell for $50 to several $100s, with pristine, high-grade specimens reaching $1,000 or more at auctions. Collectors particularly seek rare errors and varieties, such as doubled dies and repunched mint marks, which can significantly increase a coin's value. One of the most famous error coins from this year is the 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel. But while the Lincoln penny from this year does not have a famous error of that magnitude, checking for minor die varieties is still recommended. Whether you're a beginner or an expert collector, the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny remains a valuable and historically significant coin in American numismatics. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the final issues of the iconic wheat cent series before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1957-1959. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features Abraham Lincoln's profile, while the reverse displays two wheat stalks symbolizing prosperity. This penny was minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with the 1956 P having no mint mark and the 1956 D bearing the D mint mark. With a high mintage, $420 million from Philadelphia and over $1 billion from Denver. This coin is common in circulated condition. Regular worn examples typically hold a value of 2 to 10 cents, but uncirculated specimens, especially those with full red luster, can range from $5 to $50. High-grade examples in MS 67 or above can fetch over $1,000 at auctions. Collectors also search for 1956 D doubled die errors and repunched mint marks, which significantly increase value. Some doubled dies can push prices into the hundreds of dollars, depending on clarity and grade. While not among the rarest wheat pennies, the 1956 Lincoln cent remains a popular and nostalgic piece for collectors, representing the final years of this classic American coin design. The 1929 Lincoln wheat penny is a classic coin from the early 20th century, featuring the iconic design by Victor David Brenner. The obverse showcases Abraham Lincoln's profile, while the reverse displays two wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and national strength. This penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. With a total mintage of over 185 million, the 1929 penny is relatively common in lower grades, but high-grade examples and certain error varieties can be valuable. In circulated condition, these pennies are generally worth 10 to 50 cents, while uncirculated examples in MS 60 or higher can range from $10 to $150. Exceptionally high-grade specimens, particularly red-toned examples in MS 66 or above, can sell for over $1,000 at auctions. When it comes to damaged 1929 Lincoln wheat pennies, value depends on the extent and type of damage. Heavily corroded or cleaned pennies typically hold little numismatic value, often worth only face value to a few cents. However, some unique errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or lamination errors, can increase value despite damage. Coins with rare errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on the severity and rarity of the mistake. Collectors should carefully examine their 1929 Lincoln wheat pennies for key factors such as sharp details, minimal wear, and natural patina. Even damaged coins may hold interest for era collectors or those seeking historical pieces. Whether in pristine condition or worn by time, the 1929 Lincoln cent remains a significant and collectible piece of U.S. coinage history. First up, have you ever come across a 1943 D steel wheat penny and wondered if it's worth anything? You might be holding on to a fascinating piece of history. In this video, we'll explore the full details of the 1943 D steel penny, its history, value, and what makes it so unique. Stick around to find out how much yours might be worth. During World War II, the U.S. government needed copper for ammunition and war supplies. To conserve resources, the U.S. Mint produced pennies using steel coated with zinc in 1943. Among these, the 1943 D steel wheat penny, minted in Denver, stands out as one of the most collected coins from this era. While the zinc coating helped prevent corrosion initially, over time, many of these coins developed rust. But does that affect their value? Let's find out. The value of a 1943 D steel penny depends on its condition. Heavily rusted or worn coins in circulated condition are common, and usually worth only 10 to 50 cents. Slightly corroded or average condition coins with mild rust or wear can fetch $1 to $5. If your coin is clean and retains its original shine, it could be worth $10 to $50. High-grade mint state examples, MS 67 or higher, have sold for over $1,500 to $2,000 at auctions. Some 1943 D steel pennies have rare errors that can skyrocket their value. The 1943 D double die penny, where the lettering or date appears doubled, can push the value into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 1943-D repunched mint mark, where a second D mint mark slightly overlaps the first, increases its rarity. Off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted, can be worth $50 to $300 depending on how dramatic the error is. A 1943 D penny with missing zinc coating, exposing raw steel, can be highly collectible and worth $100 or more. So, before you dismiss your old steel wheat penny as junk, take a closer look. It might be worth more than you think. If you have a 1943 D steel penny, check for rust, errors, and condition. Next up, have you ever come across a 1943 steel wheat penny and wondered if it's worth anything? You might be holding on to a fascinating piece of history. In this video, we'll explore the full details of the 1943 steel penny, its history, value, and what makes it so unique. Stick around to find out how much yours might be worth. During World War II, the U.S. government needed copper for ammunition and war supplies. To conserve resources, the U.S. Mint produced pennies using steel coated with zinc in 1943. This resulted in over 1 billion steel wheat pennies being minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The steel penny was a one-year experiment, and by 1944, the U.S. returned to copper-based cents. Today, these 1943 steel pennies are highly collectible, and their value depends on condition, errors, and rarity. A 1943 steel penny in fine condition, meaning moderate wear but clear details, is typically worth around 50 cents to a few dollars. If it has minimal wear and retains some original luster, the value can increase to $5 to $10. Uncirculated examples with a strong strike and no damage can sell for $20 to $50, while Mint State MS-65 or higher coins have been auctioned for over $1,000. Some rare errors can make a 1943 steel penny worth significantly more. The 1943 double die error, where the date or lettering appears doubled, can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars. A 1943 penny with missing zinc coating, exposing raw steel, is another highly sought-after error that can be worth $100 or more. Additionally, if you ever come across a 1943 penny that doesn't stick to a magnet, it could be one of the rare copper pennies minted by mistake. These are worth over $1 million. So, before you dismiss your 1943 steel wheat penny as just another old coin, take a closer look. Check for condition, mint marks, and errors, because you might be holding something valuable. Next up, have you ever come across a 1943 S steel wheat penny and wondered if it's worth anything? You might be holding on to a fascinating piece of history. In this video, we'll explore the full details of the 1943 S steel penny, its history, value, and what makes it so unique. Stick around to find out how much yours might be worth. During World War II, the U.S. government needed copper for ammunition and war supplies. To conserve resources, the U.S. Mint produced pennies using steel coated with zinc in 1943. This resulted in over 1 billion steel wheat pennies being minted, with the San Francisco Mint producing fewer than the Philadelphia Mint, making the 1943 S steel penny slightly scarcer. The steel penny was a one-year experiment, and by 1944, the U.S. returned to copper-based cents. Today, these 1943 S steel pennies are highly collectible, and their value depends on condition, errors, and rarity. A 1943 S steel penny in fine condition, meaning moderate wear but clear details, is typically worth around $1 to $5. If it has minimal wear and retains some original luster, the value can increase to $10 to $20. Uncirculated examples with a strong strike and no damage can sell for $50 to $150, while Mint State MS-65 or higher coins have been auctioned for over $2,500. Some rare errors can make a 1943 S steel penny worth significantly more. The 1943 S double die error, where the date or lettering appears doubled, can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars. A 1943 S penny with missing zinc coating, exposing raw steel, is another highly sought-after error that can be worth $100 or more. Additionally, Off-center strikes and repunched mint marks, RPM, are collectible varieties that can increase the coin's value. Next up, have you ever come across a 1943 D steel wheat penny in excellent condition and wondered how much it's worth? You might be holding on to a valuable piece of history. In this video, we'll explore the full details of the 1943 D steel penny, its history, value, and what makes it unique. Stick around to find out if your coin could be worth a fortune. During World War II, the U.S. government needed copper for ammunition and war supplies. To conserve resources, the U.S. Mint produced pennies using steel coated with zinc in 1943. This change led to the creation of the famous steel wheat pennies, including those struck at the Denver Mint and marked with a small D mint mark. These steel pennies were only produced for 1 year, making them highly collectible today. A 1943 D steel penny in excellent condition, meaning it has little to no wear, retains most of its original luster, and has sharp details, is considerably more valuable than circulated examples. These coins typically range from $10 to $50 in lower mint state grades, but if yours is in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. High-grade mint state coins, MS 67 or higher, have been auctioned for over $2,000. Some rare errors can make a 1943 D steel penny even more valuable. A double die obverse, where the date or lettering appears doubled, can significantly increase a coin's value. A repunched mint mark, RPM, where the D mint mark was stamped multiple times, is another variety that collectors seek. Additionally, some 1943 D pennies were struck on defective planchets or have missing zinc coatings, making them rare and potentially worth hundreds of dollars. And if you ever find a 1943 penny that doesn't stick to a magnet, you could be looking at an ultra-rare copper version worth over $1 million. Next up, have you ever come across a 1943 D steel wheat penny in bad condition and wondered if it still holds any value? You might be surprised. In this video, we'll explore the full details of the 1943 D steel penny, its history, value, and what makes it interesting, even in poor condition. Stick around to find out if your worn-out coin is worth keeping. During World War II, the U.S. government needed copper for ammunition and war supplies. To conserve resources, the U.S. Mint produced pennies using steel coated with zinc in 1943. This change led to the creation of the famous steel wheat pennies, including those struck at the Denver Mint and marked with a small D mint mark. However, because steel is prone to rust and corrosion, many of these coins have deteriorated over time, making well-preserved examples much rarer. A 1943 D steel penny in bad condition, meaning heavy rust, corrosion, scratches, or excessive wear, will generally have minimal value. Coins that are heavily worn and rusted typically sell for only 10 to 50 cents. If the date and design are still visible, but the coin shows significant wear, it may be worth around $1 to $3. However, if you have a damaged 1943 D penny with a rare error, it could still be worth much more. Some valuable errors include the 1943 D double die obverse, which has a doubled date or lettering, and the repunched mint mark RPM, where the D mint mark appears to have been stamped multiple times. Even in poor condition, error coins can fetch hundreds of dollars. Additionally, if you ever find a 1943 penny that does not stick to a magnet, it could be an ultra-rare copper version worth over $1 million. So, even if your 1943 D steel wheat penny is in rough shape, it's still worth checking for rare errors before dismissing it as worthless.